And we're now live.
Oh, great. Well, good morning, everyone. I'd like to call the meeting to order at 9:02, I think. We acknowledge that we're gathered on the unceded traditional territory of the Algonquin Anishinaabe people, specifically the Mattawa-Karini people of the Madawaska River. We further acknowledge that the Algonquin people have been stewards of this land since time immemorial, and we strive to treat the land along with the flora and fauna it supports, the people, their customs, and traditions with honor and respect. Today, this area is home to people of all walks of life, and we acknowledge the shared opportunities and responsibilities to live, work, and survive within this beautiful territory. Chimigawech, all my relations. I guess we need to do a roll call to make sure everybody's here. Councillor Collins?
Present.
Laurent?
I'm here.
Harper?
Here.
Councillor Bongo?
I'm here.
Councillor Shala?
Present.
And I guess I'm here too. So moving on, are there any additions or, and attachments to the agenda? None? Okay, can I have a motion to adopt the agenda, adoption of the agenda?
I'll
make
move
the motion.
Sorry?
It's Councillor Florent. I'll make that motion.
Okay, Councillor Florent
I'll second it.
and Richard Shallow will second that. Does anybody need to disclose a pecuniary interest? None noted. It looks like we have a delegation today. Christina Zardo, Manager of Municipal Solutions, Food Cycle Science Corporation. And I believe she has a short presentation to make to us. Are you here, Christina?
Yes, good morning, Council. Thank you so much for having me. Will you just switch through the slides and I'll let you know when to go next, or would you prefer I share my screen?
I'm fine with leading if you wish, Christina.
Sorry, could you repeat that?
Did you want to take control, or do you want me to just go through your slides?
Oh, it's entirely up to you, whatever's easiest. I could share my screen if you can enable that for participants.
Excuse me, Councillor Rudnick?
Yes,
Councillor Harper here. Were we not to have a resolution adopting the agenda?
we did. It was moved by Joe Florent and seconded by Richard Shallow.
Okay, I missed that. Sorry about that. Thank you.
That's okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I guess we didn't vote on it.
That's what I was wondering. Something went wrong.
Sorry. So while we'll do that now. Sorry, my bad. Councillor Collins, as far as the agenda goes, 4. Councillor Florent,
4.
Councillor Harper,
4.
Bongo,
4.
Councillor Shala.
4.
Oh, so am I. Sorry about that.
Thank you, Bill.
Thanks for keeping me on my toes, Dave. It's been a while.
Yes, been a while for me too.
Christina, maybe I'm having problems remembering how to transfer power to you, so maybe I'll just let me know when to move forward.
I will do that, and thank you so much for your assistance there. So thanks once again, Council, for having me this morning. My name is Christina Zardo. I'm here on behalf of Food Cycle Sciences Municipal Solutions team to discuss a residential solution to food waste. So we'll move on to the next slide. So a little bit about us. Food Cycle Science is a Canadian company. We're based out of Ottawa here in Ontario, and we are 100% focused on providing food waste diversion solutions using our innovative technology called the Food Cycler. This is an in-home food recycling appliance, essentially. We sell it directly to consumers through some great partnerships with companies like Vitamix and Breville, but we also supply this to municipalities as a food waste solution to help you divert food waste from landfill and reduce the greenhouse gas emissions associated with waste. We'll move to the next slide. And we work with many small, rural, remote, and northern communities. As of today, we have 37 municipalities across Canada who have signed on to the Food Cycler program. And some examples nearby to you would include Bancroft, Trent Lakes, Dysart et al., and Algonquin Highlands. Next slide. Now, the problem with food waste, of course, is that it is avoidable in large part. It accounts for a majority of what's in our household waste typically. It's smelly, and it's made up of mostly liquid. So this is a heavy waste, and it can freeze in the winter and cause issues. And on top of that, when we have food waste decomposing in landfills, it's responsible for generating harmful greenhouse gases that contribute to the impacts of climate change that we're seeing today. So all of these factors make it so that food waste is something that has a really strong municipal impact. Next slide. And one of those impacts to municipalities is that since there's so much food waste in what we throw into the garbage, it's causing our landfills to fill up quickly. Now, landfill costs and waste collection costs are a major cost to a municipality and ultimately to taxpayers. The environmental impact, as I alluded to before, is that when we have organic waste decomposing in a landfill, that tightly compacted and anaerobic environment causes it to release methane gas, which is a greenhouse gas many times more harmful than CO2. And then in our communities, when we have this smelly food waste in the bin outside, it can cause some interesting odors, which may attract unwanted furry friends, such as bears, raccoons, other animals, and vermin. So removing this type of waste from our garbage stream, it eliminates these issues and it reduces volume. For the township, this can save on operational costs, extend the lifespan of your landfill, and for residents, no smell and less waste is much easier to manage. Next slide. Now, we often get asked, haven't we solved this problem already? There are solutions out there, which is very true. We have green bins, like curbside collection that millions of Canadians are accustomed to having, but this is mostly in big cities with high population density and an investment in really expensive processing infrastructure. But this can be cost prohibitive for a small township such as yourselves. And then we also have backyard composting, which we think is a fantastic solution. But the reality is many people may not have the space to do this, the ability to do it, or the desire to do this at home. And the reality is adoption rates have been stagnant for decades with this type of solution. And of course, we can continue to landfill the organics, but the long-term impacts here, they're costly and they're harmful to the environment. Next slide. So what we've proposed at Food Cycler is a different way of dealing with our food waste that really focuses on making it easy to deal with and right in the home. So we've essentially built this small kitchen appliance. It's about the size of a bread machine, if that means anything to you. And you put your food scraps into a bucket into the machine, you press a button, and in a matter of hours, you have a dry, sterile, odorless, and nutrient-rich soil amendment that comes out. You can put food scraps in there, even meat, fish, poultry, dairy, even some bones. So it can process a variety of food scraps. And you can use the machine anywhere that has a plug, like a kitchen, a countertop, your basement, or maybe even a heated garage. Next slide. So when you process food scraps in the Food Cycler, one cycle will take about 1 kilogram of wet, smelly food waste. A cycle takes between 4 and 8 hours to complete, and it uses less than a kilowatt hour of power, which is roughly equivalent to having a desktop computer plugged in for the same amount of time. The result, like I mentioned, is about a handful of the soil amendment that you can then use in your gardening, in your existing composting system, perhaps shared with a local farm or processed with leaf and yard waste systems if you have that in place. Next slide. When we look at the environmental impact of managing food waste, some have higher emissions than others, and the food cycler compares really well to backyard composting or anaerobic digestion. But when we look at what it does compared to sending food waste to landfill, we can achieve about a 95% reduction of greenhouse gas impact through this solution. Next slide. And from an economic standpoint, it's much cheaper to use an at-home or on-site solution. You know, with traditional services, you generate waste, you put it into your garbage can, a hauling truck comes to pick it up, that may go through a transfer station and ultimately ends up buried in a landfill. This is expensive, it's never ending, and costs are variable. With the food cycler, you have residents generating their food waste and processing it right at the home without the need for offering new services or putting more trucks on the road. And then they can benefit from generating their own fertilizer to enrich their garden soil. You can also achieve higher diversion without implementing these costly programs or building new facilities. Next slide. So one thing that we've learned from working with our municipal partners is that their residents are very interested in being part of the solution. They want to try new things. They want options. They want to reduce their greenhouse gas impact, and they want their government to bring these things to their community. So with the food cycler, you get to bring something tangible and innovative and all Canadian to your residents who might not otherwise be participating in a diversion program or something that just hasn't suited them yet. And on top of this social pressure is the impact of some regulations that are coming to us here in Ontario. There are some diversion targets that are coming into effect in the next couple of years. So it's really important that we have a plan in place that meets these goals and works for our community specifically. Next slide. So I mentioned earlier that we're working with several municipalities across Canada. As of today, we've completed pilots in over 1,200 households across 14 municipalities, and the results are overwhelmingly positive. We have really high levels of participation using the food cycler. We've achieved a significant amount of net new diversion, and over 95% of people say that they would recommend it as a solution and will continue using it. In the city of Nelson in BC specifically, after 2 successful pilots, they voted to put a food cycler in every home in their city of 10,000 people, and we're currently in the RFP process for that. And next slide. So our pilot programs, as I was talking about before, it's typically a 12-week project from start to finish. Residents will purchase a food cycler from the township at a subsidized rate. They then use the unit and they'll track the number of cycles that they run per week. At the end, they get to keep their food cycler and continue using it, of course. And we ask them to complete a brief exit survey so that we can evaluate things like net new diversion and the overall success and viability of this technology in your community. The results are then put into a final report for council that's effectively a feasibility study and can be used to support your future waste management decisions or perhaps accompany an application to a grant program to expand the program. Next slide. So here's an overview of how our pilot programs are laid out, including our pilot size recommendations. For a community of your size, we would recommend a pilot program involving 50 households, and they work based on a subsidy model where Food Cycle Science will provide a discount. We then ask the municipality to subsidize the cost by $125 per unit plus shipping. And the resident will only end up paying $175 for a machine that retails at $500. And remember, after the 12-week pilot, it is theirs to keep. So if you're just a regular consumer and you wanted to purchase a food cycler, you may do so, but the retail price there is $500. So this subsidy model allows everyone to participate at significantly less than market rates and have a little bit of skin in the game. Next slide. So we also have an affordable add-on option. Essentially, we realize that asking residents to pay $175 will be appealing to many, but maybe out of reach for some. So we are offering an add-on program that's affordable that we would ask you to make available to your community members for only $50. in this scenario, food cycle science will match the municipal discount in addition to the initial discount we're giving. And this is intended for low-income households, community or nonprofit organizations, perhaps schools, or anyone who could genuinely benefit from a low-cost option. Entirely optional, how you manage it would be at your discretion because you know your community best. The next slide. So thank you very much. We would welcome the township to be part of this initiative. We think that you would be a great benefit or a great fit for the benefits of the program. And today we kindly ask you receive our presentation, and if there is interest in a pilot program, to refer this to staff for a tailored recommendation to bring back at a later date. Thank you very much. And if you have any questions, I can answer those at this time.
Thank you very much, Christina. Does anybody have any questions?
It's Councillor Florent here. I have one question. The final presentation there about the extra 5, is the discount on the 5 or on 55?
It is on the 5 units. So if you were to order 50, then you can add on up to 5 more using this scenario.
So the price point would remain 175 for most people.
Yeah, so for the first 50 pilot participants, it would be 175, but then you'll have 5 that you can provide at only $50 to, schools, nonprofits, or low-income households should the need be there.
And if the demand was there, what would the price be after the initial 55?
Then it would be, so the 50 is just a recommendation based on the size of your community, but that can be tailored. So if there's more demand, then we could increase that to 100 at the same price point as what we saw in the previous slide.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Bongo here. I've just got a couple questions. How does this product compare to your competitors' products?
So we have a couple competitors that are in the market that have launched kind of crowdsourcing campaigns recently. And I think the technology is still so new. I personally haven't used it, so couldn't comment. But we've been producing our unit for about 6 years now. So, it's tried and tested in the market, has very good reviews over the years. And I think, the answer to your question is I'm really not sure, and we'll have to wait and see.
Okay, super. And I just have one more question. So it's basically like a soil material that you're left with after the process is done. And what do people normally do in the wintertime with that soil?
Yeah, that's a great question. So personally, I have one of those 5-gallon buckets from Canadian Tire or Home Depot, and I fill that up over the winter so that I can accumulate my soil amendment. And then in the spring, I'll mix it into my garden soil. So it's dry, sterile, and odorless, so it can be stored indefinitely, which is quite nice. It doesn't take up a whole lot of space either.
Super, thank you.
Okay. I have a question. It's Councillor Rodnick. Where's the product actually manufactured?
So it's manufactured in China, and it's engineered here in our local office in Ottawa.
Okay, thanks. Are you having any issues with getting actual product across due to, raw material parts, shortages and those type of things?
We've been lucky enough to only have been affected by some slight delays in shipping, getting them overseas by about 30 to 45 days. But aside from that, everything's going pretty well, knock on wood.
I have a question. It's Councillor Shaw. Thanks for your presentation. It's interesting. I compost also. However, it talks about bones. Now, there's all kinds of bones, from roasts to steaks to pork chops, etc. Will this really break down those large bones?
So in the food cycler, you can put things like poultry, fish, and chicken bones, the ones that are kind of smaller and more brittle and do break down. Anything harder like a beef, pork, or moose bone, for example, should not go in there. So it does have a grinding wheel at the bottom of the bucket that will turn during cycling. So if it will jam or interfere with that, it really shouldn't go in. And this would be true for things like nectarine and peach pits as well. But the smaller bones, chicken, poultry, fish are a-okay.
Okay, those I wouldn't put in my composter either. So, one other, okay, now if you did use this and you had it set up somewhere in your home and then transferred it during the winter months to the composter, is there much loss in it or any gain in it as far as what you're getting out of it to put in your garden?
No, so it's a perfect companion piece to outdoor composting, especially in the winter when a lot of people just don't do that anymore. You can definitely mix it in with your backyard composter. The only thing that we would recommend is you turn it every so often, just so you can avoid getting into that hot compost scenario, which might create methane if done improperly.
Okay, thank you.
Great.
Can
Anybody?
I mention our son and daughter-in-law who lives just outside of Cornwall actually have one of these. They were part of the pilot project in Longsu, and they are delighted with it. It has prevented their ordinary garbage smelling. It's very, very simple to use. They leave the pot on the back of their kitchen counter. It has a little lid with it, and it's been part of their daily life, and they love it. So I know I know this works. They're looking forward to using the compost on their tomato plants and their zucchini and everything else in the springtime. So they've built up a small pot of compost. They say it's more like a potpourri type consistency, and they're looking forward to using it in the spring to bring their plants along. So they recommend it. So as far as I'm concerned, if it's good enough for them, and he is, quite, used to doing reviews and things like that, and reviews it very well. So I think it sounds like a really good piece of equipment.
Thank you for your comments, Councillor.
Okay, anybody else? Okay, I guess we shall move along here. Thank you very much, Christina. It was a very interesting presentation.
Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day, everyone.
Okay, moving along, minutes from the previous meetings. Has anybody got any questions or changes they want to make to the minutes from the regular council meeting of March 2nd? Oh, okay. Can I have somebody make a motion to move it and second the adoption of the minutes?
I'll move it, Councillor Rodney.
By Councillor Collins, seconded by,
Councillor
I'll second
Florent.
it.
sorry, Councillor Shala.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. And let's vote on it. Councillor Collins,
For.
Warren,
Florent.
Harper,
Or,
Councillor Bongo,
Or
Shala.
Or,
Motion's carried. Anybody want to make any changes or things for the special council meeting of March 9th? Okay, can I have a mover and a seconder, please?
I'll move it.
Councillor Bongo, thank you for moving it. Second,
Councillor Florent.
Councillor Florent, thank you. Okay, okay, let's vote on this. Councillor Collins,
For.
Florent,
For.
Harper,
for,
Councillor Bongo,
For
Shala,
or,
carried. The minutes from the Asset Management Committee meeting of March 17th. Can I have, there's no change.
I'll move it.
Moved by Councillor Shala, seconded by
Councillor Florence,
I'll second it. Councillor Collins.
All right, thank you. Councillor Collins? We'll vote on this, on the.
Sorry, four.
Councillor Florence,
Four.
4,
Councillor Harper,
Four.
Councillor Bongo,
Or
Ella,
4,
motion carried. Now we're going on to committees and staff and or councillor reports. First of all, we have the fire report.
Good morning, Council. This morning's report starts with a brief apology. I did send in an amended report. I checked this morning and found that for some strange technological reason, my amended report didn't actually send. I should have checked that a few days ago, and I apologize for that. So I have a few amended notes to the report you actually see before you. Starting with the most important thing, I think, 2 members of my senior management team have recently both been hospitalized and undergone procedures. One officer is now at home recovering, and the second person is still in hospital, but tells me that he's making reasonable progress under the circumstances. I am in regular touch with both members of staff and sincerely wish them a very, very speedy recovery, as I'm sure you all do. Moving on, starting at the top of that report, training courses. I've been able to book one pump operators course, which is going to take place between, well, it actually takes place with a blended course. It's going to be an online learning session that the person has to attend in their own time, and then actually attend a classroom for 5 days at the end of the course. They'll be attending Innisfil Regional Training Centre. And the person who stepped forward and asked to be put forward for that course was Firefighter Dupuy from the Whitney Fire Hall. Now I've managed to get my head around how that damn system works. I've managed to apply for 3 instructors courses. That will be Cornier, Dupuy from Whitney, and Girard from Madawaska have all volunteered to step up to the plate and take the online instructors course. It's an 8-week course of approximately 60 hours of private study to get their instructor's qualification. And I'm waiting to hear back from the OFC whether I was successful with those applications. March regular training took place, although, as you can imagine, a lot of the training time allocated was actually taken up with discussing the new Ontario firefighter qualification that I briefed council on at the last meeting. Although following on from the training, we did manage to briefly touch on basic search and rescue scenarios at fire scenes. And that concluded the training for the month. We've had 4, you have on your notes, you have 3 calls over the month. In actual fact, we attended 4 fire calls. The first 2 calls were on, as you can see, were on the same date, at the same location, for the same person, just that one attended in the afternoon with a male that was trapped in a crawl space. He declined after being extricated from under the crawl space, he declined all medical assistance. And then unfortunately later that night, he collapsed at home and was unable to move and get upstairs to his bedroom, and required firefighter attending with the EMS due to the fact that the house was located along a long unploughed driveway and the EMS couldn't access the scene. That was why they were asking for firefighter assistance to actually get the equipment in, carry the person out, things like that. The third call was a car collision, a motor vehicle collision on Highway 60, pretty much near the junction with Highway 127. It was a head-on collision. There was no extrication required in the end, although that was the initial call. And it was basically for us to attend to assist with flagging initially, and then to assist with clear up and making sure there was no contamination of the scene, spilt gas and things like that. The fourth call was in Madawaska, and it was Highway 60 at the junction with Spectacle Lake Road, where there was a truck on fire. It appeared to be a seized wheel bearing, and by the time the staff got there, the fire was actually out and sufficiently dealt with. Again, minor clear up. What was nice to see is that not only did firefighters from Madawaska attend, but also one of the local Whitney firefighters who was in the area and had his own PPE equipment with him still in his truck. He also attended the scene. And I think that bodes well for the future with both departments working together. Sorry, I'll correct that. Both fire halls working together. I've received no complaints or concerns from members of the public. Then moving on to the updating upcoming events. I was unable to attend the March 30th meeting when the OFM was due to give us an update and feedback on the proposed firefighter certification. Now, I'm not reading anything into this, but yesterday I received a memo from the actual OFM, the Ontario Fire Marshal, to say that he's taken an immediate leave of absence for 2 months and everything's been handed over to his deputy. I don't know if the two things concur, but that's the current situation with the OFM's office. I was expecting and hoping to be able to report back to council that I would have had a communication from the OFM's office regarding that update and feedback, but unfortunately up to this morning I hadn't received anything else from them. Lastly, then, correspondence. I've been able to order 9 sets of stationware for new members that have been around for the last 3 years and never been equipped with the stationware that all the previous firefighters have. I'm hoping to persuade the people politely that that will be a regular uniform wear for station activities such as training and maintenance. Unfortunately, the company providing the equipment is unable to provide me yet with a delivery date due to COVID supply chain problems. Moving on, subject to you this morning passing the bylaw to sell car 1, then that vehicle will immediately be transferred to Madawaska Valley and the funds will be held in trust pending decisions about new fire vehicles for the future. The situation with the Madawaska pump house modifications, the plumber attended last week. I know he attended. I haven't yet had a report back to say whether or not the project has been completed or whether it's still ongoing. Unless you have any questions, that concludes my monthly report.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's Councillor Bongo here. I just have a quick question.
Sure,
Yep.
fire away.
Super. With the incident with the resident with the unplowed driveway, how did our team get to the site? Was it by snowmobile or how did that work?
No, they actually they attended with the fire truck that's got 4x4 capability and drove up to the house, and therefore they had their equipment immediately at scene.
Oh, okay, super.
I think it was just a question of the EMS didn't want to risk getting the EMS paramedic ambulance stuck in the soft snow. But yeah, so we were in a position to provide them transport should they so require, which they didn't.
Great. Well, it's great to hear that the two departments are working very well together.
Fire halls.
No, I agree. Fire halls, I guess the EMS department and our fire department is what I mean.
Point taken. Yes, I apologize.
That's okay.
Okay, moving on to the library report and minutes. Anybody got any questions or anything about that? Okay. We'll move along to Tracy and the shore allowance application report.
Good morning. So there's a resolution included in the package to approve authorization for staff to proceed with a shore road allowance purchase on 54 Douglas Lane. So the map is in there as well. It shows the shore road allowance and then the property. So just wanted to, and the application was also provided in the package as well for review if anybody has any questions or comments. Okay, moving forward. And I believe I'm next on this one too. So this is
Yes,
just
you are.
to it's just an amendment to the contact list in bylaw 2618. I didn't put the whole bylaw in the package because it is a quite large bylaw, but it's just the appendix C that will be need to be adjusted to change Holly and add Brian and add Ian as well. And there's also a resolution in the package for that as well.
Okay,
And that's it for me.
thank you. Is Mr. Acne on with us this morning?
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Just a couple of emergency management notes, a couple of updates. Earlier this month, actually it was at the end of March, our EMO field officer, Maya Foster, has decided to leave Emergency Management Ontario and proceed with some new career opportunities. So as of the end of March, we now have a new EMO field officer. His name is Peter Habel. He resides in Renfrew, and he'll be making the rounds to different municipalities this spring as our new EMO field officer. As of last Friday, April 1st, we received correspondence from Emergency Management Ontario from the chief of EMO, which has indicated that our emergency management program for 2021 has been certified, and we've met all of the regulations and requirements under the Emergency Management Act for last year. So that's good news. There will be tomorrow, or Thursday, tomorrow, there will be 2 spring freshet flood conference calls that municipal staff has been participating in. The Bancroft District freshet call is at 9 a.m. and the Pembroke District MNRF freshet call, which I attend as part of our Capital Sector CEMC group, follows at 10 o'clock. The projections for spring flooding are very favorable, extremely low snowpack and water equivalent values, 50% of normal actually, low flows, below normal stream flows, and all of the reservoirs are basically at their lower target ranges. So they're barring a severe weather event with major precipitation. At this point, there's very little concern over spring flooding. So those calls are ongoing every week until further notice. The other item that I have is I presented 2 reports on request for this council meeting. One was the 2021 hazard report. Now, each and every year, municipalities in Ontario have to do a hazard and risk analysis, and they give us a formula on how to calculate the likelihood and consequence of the various hazards our community face. So that is that report, and again, it was certified by EMO last week as meeting the standards. The other report was the after action report for the winter storm, which happened in December. And at that point, for the first time ever, the municipality opened a warming center at St. Martin of Tours Catholic School. So if there are any questions, reports, I can answer questions.
Is Councillor Bongo here?
Yes.
Not so much a question, but just a comment that I thought the report was phenomenal. The winter storm after action report. I had members of the public approach me with questions and comments about that winter storm experience and the power outage as well. And this report is amazing. And now when I engage with members of the public, I have all the information, and I love the level of detail as well throughout the event, and also all of the recommendations at the end of the report. I think are all fantastic, and I would support pretty much all of them. So I truly thank you for your time in putting that together.
Well, thank you so much. I try to be very detailed with my reports. Certainly, as we move forward, COVID has really had a profound effect on emergency management in the way we conduct our usual committee meetings and things. So some of these recommendations and that we'll deal with later this year as our emergency management program committee meets, and I'll bring in our new field officer who will certainly assist us in those. So we have work yet to do. It's a situation that will happen again, and I think the fact that we were able to respond, that the center was open within 30 minutes of making the call to open it, worked very well. So the system we have in place works. Just moving forward, maybe some thresholds and and again, some improvements to our facilities will certainly carry the day on that one. Just, I'm sorry, I have a question at the end that I'd like to ask council, but I'll take other questions if there are any.
Brian, Richard here. I'm just wondering under hazard 9, if you could drop down to it, I believe.
I'll just look through my copy of my written report I have here, and then I'll catch up with you. So
Anyway, I'm just wondering why you omitted some of the dams on that water system on the Madawaska River.
Oh, okay. The critical infrastructure annex that EMO, the model they put forward, deals with infrastructure within the municipality, regardless of ownership. So like the dams, I included Bark Lake OPG dam because the reservoir exists in South Algonquin. The dams in Algonquin Park are outside of our municipality. So as far as EMO is concerned, I don't have to catalog those. So that,
Well, I
that would
noticed,
be the difference on why some facilities are shown and some aren't.
well, I noticed you included like Lake of Two Rivers and I believe Rock Lake.
I try and do an overview of how the whole
Okay.
system works under the management plan. So that's the reason for that.
Okay, I just wondered because Sasa J1 and Cache Lake are a major part of that also.
Right, right. Now, again, we use the Madawaska River Water Management Plan, and all those are listed in it. In terms of our critical infrastructure within the municipality, because it's a system that functions as a whole system, I try and give an overview of what all the facilities are, but I concentrate on those that are particularly within the municipality.
Okay, thank you, Brian. That was a very, actually, I'll, back up Councilor Pongo's statement. That was a very well put together report. It was very informative.
I do have one or two comments. First, maybe I would turn it over to our other CEMC, Tracy Cannon, if she has any comments regarding the after action report on the storm. And then I'd like to discuss the scheduling of committee meetings before the election and lame duck and that sort of thing. So Tracy, do you have any comments?
Okay.
No, I don't. I reviewed the report before it went into the package, and it was a really good report, Brian, very accurate of what we did that evening and how it was perceived. And no, no comments here.
Awesome, thank you. So as we approach the election coming up and council goes lame duck, every year I have to train our control group staff, including councillors. And every election year we run into the same problem is, do I do a training session before council goes lame duck with the existing council, or do we do the training after the election with whoever we have on council remaining and the new additions, if any? So it comes down to a question of, for that particular training, do we do it early to meet the standard, or because I know there is a hesitancy to have committee meetings very late in the year. So some guidance on that. The other thing is it's better if we can have our program committee meetings in person. And I know not everybody will maybe be comfortable with that yet, but certainly if I bring in some outside stakeholders and things, it would be beneficial if I could hold them in person. But again, points for discussion and comments.
Okay. Anybody got any comments in regards to that?
Well, it's Richard. I'm just wondering, Brian, based on masking, etc., and maybe the guidelines will be relaxed a bit later on, and may save you a lot of preparation work and have to cram 2 sessions versus one if it was delayed. But that's just my my thoughts, and it may be more open and more friendly if it if the guidelines are relaxed a bit and people aren't as scared or cautious or whatever.
Okay, thank you. Typically, just for council's knowledge and the public's knowledge, we hold a minimum of 2 program committee meetings per year. And in that, we do a mock emergency exercise, and we test the emergency plan during one of the meetings. And I also do the training components for the other meeting. Now, these meetings can still be done electronically. We did the exercise last year electronically. So we can still go ahead with Zoom or whatever platform electronically. That's fine. It was just the timing to set the training before the election or after. So give that some thought, and you can get back to me whenever a decision might be made.
Okay.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak, by the way.
Thank you for coming. Okay, moving on to the administration report.
Really light administration report this month. Really, I'm trying to set up I think I sent an email to everyone. I'm trying to set up meetings now as committee being the 3rd week, I believe, the 3rd Wednesdays of the month. I've included it in here. I'm tending to think that we can probably, because of the election, try to have our meeting rather than that July 20th, do our regular June meeting, and then have our regular meeting back into September, and kind of give the summer for everybody that's out campaigning. And if anything comes up urgently, to possibly add it in. That was an afterthought after the report went out. And our year-end audit has been completed. So the hope is that on the 20th, I've been coordinating with Councillor Bongo to have an economic development meeting. We're just going to wrap up later this week the agenda to get it out to everybody. Also, there are a number of items to bring forward to HRPR and admin. So we felt that maybe we could combine those. We already have a committee of adjustment meeting that day. So because we're having one meeting, I figured we could probably make a morning of it and fill the agenda, and that way any business that needs to be addressed can be addressed prior to the next council meeting.
Okay. Moving on to number 8. Is there any business arising from the minutes?
Oh, just a minute. Can we firm up those other dates? July and September? Or June,
Yeah,
July, and
so that's-
September?
Right, Councillor Shell, I think that's my one ask. I mean, certainly if council has any concerns with the 3rd Wednesday in each month, it kind of gives staff that 1 week to prepare anything from committee to make sure it gets into the council agendas. But certainly the question is, we're thinking the final meeting would be that 1st Wednesday in July. And then council would have that period for the rest of the summer, and we come back the 1st Wednesday in September. If that's, and we can certainly add a meeting in there if we need to, but there's always the potential of that lame duck period as well. So if council wishes to have a meeting during that period, we certainly will schedule one, but it was certainly staff recommendation that we just leave the summer to that month and a half for people to do what they needed to do as it relates to elections.
Okay, so that's my question. Are these dates set so that I can mark it on my calendar? There was no comment. There were no. Are they confirmed?
Well, as far as I can see, these are basically the committee meetings that you've got scheduled here, and the council meetings will take place as usual, with the exception that we won't be meeting in August.
Yes, but generally, people will agree that yes, I'm available, or we'll decide that we're going ahead with these dates and we mark them on our calendar, and that's what I want to know, because I want to I have no problem with them,
Okay, well,
but I want to
again,
know if that's firm, and if that is, that's great.
do you have any objections to any of those dates?
Okay, excellent. Thank you.
Firm. Thank you, Richard.
To get back to Brian's question about when to hold the exercise for emergency management, before with the present council or with the future council, the date and the calendar for the change is November the 15th. So after November the 15th doesn't leave very much time for an emergency management meeting, because part of that time period would include the first meeting and swearing in of the new council. So you're getting pretty close to the Christmas season to try and schedule an emergency management meeting. That's just my opinion.
And we're supposed to hold 2 per year, correct?
I think so,
And we haven't done one yet this year.
correct?
Councillor Rodnick, I could certainly coordinate with Brian Acne. As I say, we've slated those dates for committee over the summer, between now and September. We haven't slated any specific activity of council. Those dates we just wanted to get held so that we would have dates should there be need for those meetings. So certainly I could coordinate with Brian any activities he may need related to emergency management during those periods as well.
Well, that sounds like a plan. If you would do that, that would be great. Okay. That was number 8. Moving on to number 9, any unfinished business? No? Okay. Moving on to item number 10, correspondence action items. Holly Hayes was applying to become a member of the Recreation Committee. I assume there's a motion in here for that.
I'm sorry, Councillor Rodnick. Do we not have a report from CAO and a report from Dave Gatley today?
I don't see one in the package, actually.
Okay.
No, Councillor Collins, my intent is with these committee meetings to attempt to ensure that our committee meetings for asset management, HRPR, where all of our staff reports will actually get moved to finally, so that we can address the business of the reports and bring it forward as action items at council.
Okay. So there's a motion to move forward with this application for the Recreation Committee. The second item is the DSAB, member municipalities in support of provincial funding. There is a motion in there for this too, is there not, Brian?
Yes, there is. All of the action items have resolutions attached to them,
Okay,
with the exception of this last one, I believe.
okay. And where do we go with this? Anybody got any commentary about it?
Certainly, I wanted to make sure that this came to council before responding, but certainly I'd be more than happy to respond in writing to Mr. Luke-Savage with respect to some of the perceived issues related to it and some of the concerns that I can publicly discuss with him as it relates to his concerns without getting into some of the issues that may have been relevant and dealt with by council and closed.
I think, Brian, there was a consensus, I believe, at the last meeting, and I think I seen something from Dave. I thought I seen, oh no, it was in our minute, in the previous minutes, the asset management minutes. Where council made, there was consensus that we were, Dave was going to investigate the possibility of creating an overflow parking area between First and Second Avenue on one side of the road and on EMS side, and I think that will hopefully satisfy him and everyone else that has an issue.
Councillor Bongo here.
Yes.
I would be supportive of Brian formally responding to the resident with the information that is allowed to be shared, and also perhaps also maybe to correct the resident a little bit. I would disagree that we have taken zero action to overcome this problem. We did speak about this at an asset management committee meeting in autumn 2021. We had the closed session meeting last month as well. So we are making the initial steps to deal with this issue. But anyways, Brian, I have a full confidence that that you would be able to communicate with the residents and also just bring some of the facts to light. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Bongo. Anybody else want to comment? Or I would echo that sentiment. I think Brian should, I mean, the resident has requested a written response, so I would think Brian would be the appropriate one to answer it in the appropriate manner. Okay. Next item on the agenda is correspondence of the information items. Quite a number of them. Has anybody got any comments they want to make on anything, or?
I think one of those announcements, and I can't quite read it from where I'm sitting here, is the announcement about the new chief of the ambulance service for the DSAP board. It's Mr. Stephen Kirk. I had an opportunity to email Mr. Kirk about a question about ambulance service, and I just want to respond that he got back to me immediately the same day with an answer. So he's very responsive. And the question was posed to me by a resident of when they're picked up by the ambulance, can they suggest which hospital emergency department they're being taken to? Because some of our residents normally frequent the Bancroft Hospital and some frequent St. Francis in Barry's Bay. And his response was that they certainly can suggest it. And in general, unless there's a time constraint where they have to respond immediately and quickly, they will request back to the dispatch if they can go to that hospital, but they cannot go against dispatch, whichever hospital dispatch tells them to go to, that's where they have to go. But they are open to suggestions. If it's an emergency situation, they're going to the quickest place, the quickest response time.
Well, I would tend to think that would probably be the best course of action.
It is.
Yes, but not all ambulance services are time sensitive.
No, that's correct. But I mean, in the instance of an emergency, you get there where you can.
That's right.
Okay. Moving on, number 12, new business. Any new business to discuss? Okay. Moving on to motions of council. And the first one being a resolution that the council for the corporation of the township of South Algonquin authorize the staff to proceed with the application received for the purchase of the unopened shore allowance in front of Plan M292, Lot 7A, Part Lot 7, RP NR 2078, Part 1 in the geographic township of Sabine, locally known as 54 Douglas Lane, as circulated in the council package. Can I have a mover?
I'll move it.
Moved by Councillor Shala, seconded by
I'll do that. It's Councillor Florent.
Councillor Florent. Okay. Shall we take a vote? Councillor Collins,
For.
Councillor Florent,
Or
Councillor Harper,
Four.
Councillor Bongo,
4.
Councillor Shala.
Or
Great. The next one is the Council for the Corporation of the Township of South Algonquin approves the application received and accept Holly Hayes as a member of the Whitney Recreation Committee. Can I have a mover and a seconder, please?
I'll move it.
I'll second it.
Councillor Bongo moves and Councillor Harper seconds. Okay, we'll take a vote on that. Councillor Collins,
For.
Councillor Florent,
or
Councillor Harper,
Four.
Bongo,
4.
Shala,
for
and carries. Moving on, that the Council for the Corporation of the Township of South Algonquin approve amendments to the contact list referred to as Appendix C of Bylaw 20-618, Fire Suppression Agreement between the Township and the Ministry of Conservation, Environment and Parks, and Ministry of Natural Resources and Forestry, as outlined in the staff report included in this package. Can I have a mover, please?
I'll make that motion. It's Councillor Florent.
Councillor Florent, seconder?
I'll second it.
Councillor Shallow, thank you. We'll vote on that. Councillor Collins,
For.
Florent,
Or
Harper,
Four.
Councillor Bongo,
4.
Councillor Shallow,
Or
Carry. Okay. Whereas the 2021 point in time count showed 300 people in the district of Nipissing identified as homeless, indicating a steady increase from previous counts. And whereas while government funding has provided capital dollars throughout the pandemic for the development of the Gateway campus to provide emergency and transitional housing to the district's most vulnerable, there is no health and housing funding to support operations. And whereas the District of Nipissing Social Services Administration Board continues to advocate for housing and health funding with the province to staff and meet the needs of the District of Nipissing's most vulnerable. Therefore, be it resolved that the Council of the Township of South Algonquin advocate for housing, health, staffing, support funding for the District of Nipissing's transitional housing development known as Gateway House with the provincial government. And further, that it be resolved that a copy of this resolution be forwarded to the Ministry of Health, Christine Elliott, Associate Minister of Health and Addictions, Michael Tabolo, Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, Steve Clark, and MPP John Yakubuski. Any discussion?
we need a mover and a shaker first.
That's right. Sorry. Can we have a mover and a seconder, please?
I'll move it.
Councillor Bongo. Seconded by,
I'll second it.
thank you, Councillor Shala. Anybody need any discussions? Okay, let's vote on the mo-
I have
Go
just
ahead.
one comment. It's all very well for us supporting something that's happening in the district of Nipissing. Let's just hope that whatever is discussed actually transitions and we end up here with the result of whatever happens in South Algonquin. We often get forgotten when things are put forward in Nipissing. I mean, the 300 homeless in Nipissing, I don't know our figures for South Algonquin, if indeed there are any homeless. But we often get forgotten in any form of gateway house, etc. People that found themselves homeless in South Algonquin couldn't actually get to a gateway house, even if it was instigated and paid for and dealt with in the rest of the township of Nipissing. So I think we need to be sure that they include us in any discussion here.
Thank you. Anybody else have anything they want to add? Okay, we will vote on this motion. Councillor Collins,
Or
Councillor Florent,
Or,
Councillor Harper,
For,
Councillor Bongo,
Or,
Councillor Shala,
Or,
motion is carried. Okay. Council for the Corporation of the Township of South Algonquin declares surplus and dispose of the 2021 Ford F-150 on a cost recovery basis to the Township of Madawaska Valley. Can I have a mover, please?
I'll move that.
By Councillor Florent, seconded by
I'll second it.
Councillor Harper. Okay, Councillor Collins,
or
Councillor Florent,
Or,
Councillor Harper,
For,
Councillor Bongo,
For,
Councillor Shala,
or,
is carried. Okay, we have a motion here that the Council of the Corporation of Township of South Algonquin endorses the Corporation of the Municipality of Mississippi Mills Resolution Number 079-22, which supported Prince Edward County's call for government action concerning the current legislation and regulations surrounding municipal requirements to take over and maintain abandoned operating cemeteries. Can I have a mover, please?
I'll make that motion.
Moved by Councillor Florent, seconded by
I will second it.
Councillor Collins. Any discussion?
Yes, I asked that this be brought forward to the meeting. Not so much that I think it's necessarily or it really matters whether we endorse it or not, but I just wanted to make council aware that it's a very real problem in our township, and I think it's going to get worse. I'm not disagreeing that it's the duty of council or the duty of the township to take over responsibility for the abandoned graveyards, because essentially it's the same people, it's the same taxpayers possibly that's using the church or paying the municipal taxes. But I think the motion from Mississippi Mills is asking the government to review it, because I think the individual churches that close down should not be abandoned by the greater diocese. I think the church as a whole should be responsible for the graveyards, not just the individual church where the graveyards are. So I think that's the purpose of Mississippi Mills' motion. I think that's a good idea. I think it's the present legislation, it's too easy for the church to walk away from it.
Okay, we will vote. We'll vote on this. Councillor Collins,
For
Councillor Florent,
Or,
Harper,
For,
Bongo,
For,
Shala,
or,
motion is carried. Okay, moving on. The Council for the Corporation of the Township of South Algonquin endorses the Township of Woolwich's resolution passed on March 7th, 2022, requesting that the Government of Canada ensure appropriate and sustained funding is transferred to provinces for mental health purposes in their 2022 budget, and requests the Government of Ontario to provide stable, reliable, and predictable funding for mental health organizations in their 2020 budget. Can I have some mover, please?
I'll move that one as well, because it was me that asked for it to be brought forward.
Councillor Florent, thank you. And a seconder,
I'll second it.
Counselor Shallow. Thank you very much. Any discussion?
Again, I'll talk to it a bit. I think everybody's been under the impression that mental health during COVID has been on the problem of mental health during COVID has been on the upswing. Although I heard on a newscast last night that that wasn't true, that there's actually no more cases now than there was before COVID. So I really don't know what to believe. I don't know if what my interpretation of the facts were before is correct or if the newscast was correct. But in any case, I think there has to be adequate funding for mental health, whether it's up or down.
Okay, thank you, Joe. Anybody else have any comments? Okay, we'll vote on this motion. Counselor Collins,
For.
Laurent,
For.
Harper,
Or,
Longo,
Or,
Shallow.
For her?
Motion is carried. Okay. Item number 14 on the agenda, notice of motions. Any notice of motions? Okay, moving on to the bylaws. We have before us bylaw number 2022-699 being a bylaw to establish an unopened road allowance policy. Bylaw number 2022-700 being a bylaw to enter into an agreement with Hydro One for streetlight maintenance. Bylaw 2022-701 being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council be read a first and be deemed read a second time. Can I have a mover, please?
I'll move it.
Moved by Counselor Bongo, seconded.
I'll second.
Seconded by Counselor Collins. Is it at this time we do any discussion on this bylaw?
Whenever you want to discuss it, it's Richard. I'm a little bit concerned that the shoreline appears to be included in a lot of this. And I think we should be sending our comments, it should be removed for now. And then our comments sent back to and then recirculated at possibly another meeting. I see it as totally two different issues. And when I read it, and it talks about various what you couldn't do on the shore or weren't allowed to do. I just think it's they're two different issues, and that's my thoughts. And if we're going to vote on this today, I want a recorded vote. But my suggestion is to support this unopened road allowance policy. But I believe that the the unopened shoreline policy, they sort of conflict, and I think it should be relooked at, honestly. So anyway, that's my thoughts.
Any other comments? Okay. Then I guess we will take a vote on this, and it's a recorded vote. Counselor Collins,
For.
Counselor Florent,
Is this for the first and second reading?
yes, sir.
We normally don't discuss and
Is it at the third reading? Sorry, it's my fault if I've messed this up.
I'm not sure. I've never heard of a recorded vote for a bylaw.
Well, I'm sure everyone has read. Okay, well, we're going to discuss it later then, after second reading. That's what we always did, correct?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought, but when the question was on the table, I thought I'd jump in, so.
Sorry, my fault. I got it out of order. So Brian, do we
So
just
if you're
vote
still
on?
if you're still asking for a vote on the first and second reading, I'm for.
Okay, okay. We'll ask for a vote on the first and the second reading only at this time.
Counselor Rodnick, did you get a mover in a second?
Yes.
You did? Okay, sorry, I missed that.
And Councillor Collins and myself have already voted.
Counselor Harper,
Four.
Counselor Bongo,
Or
Counselor Shala,
Or,
Counselor Rodnick,
Or, okay, so now we will go into the bylaw 2022-699 being a bylaw to establish an unopened road allowance policy. Bylaw 2022-700 being a bylaw to enter into an agreement with Hydro One for streetlight maintenance. Bylaw 2022-701 being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council be deemed read a third time and passed. Any discussion at this point in time?
okay, if I may again, I would ask that, that we pull that, remove the bylaw regarding the unopened road allowance policy, and possibly discuss that at a roads meeting or an asset management meeting. And as I mentioned earlier, I don't think it fits because there's part of that, the information in it pertains to unopened shoreline, which we're allowing people to buy, and I just think it should be looked at or re-looked at, and possibly at an asset management meeting, and that's all I have to say.
Councillor Florent?
Councilor Florent, go ahead.
I disagree with Councillor Shala's point because shoreline road allowances are dealt separately with a separate policy, and the policy has been to only sell shoreline allowance to the adjoining property owners, which is a little bit different than unopened concession road allowances, which generally would serve the general population, not a specific population. So I don't have a problem with the bylaw the way it's written.
Could I respond to that?
Okay, go ahead.
I agree with Councillor Florent, and it does mention in there, I believe, that based on a decision of council, but I just think it should be an opportunity in an open forum to go through this and discuss a few particular lines. And I don't have it printed out here in front of me and right now, but I just think it, I don't know if there's any rush for that. And I agree what it's for. It's and we need unopened road allowance policies, but I just think the shoreline road allowance portion of it that we do allow to sell, we sell. I just think it should be looked at further.
Counselor Harper here.
Harper, go ahead.
Yes, the policy for the sale of unopened shoreline allowances has been set. We've utilized it in the past quite successfully. The unopened road allowances, the sale of them is normally done on a case-by-case basis. In some cases, and if they can demonstrate in some cases whether or not there's alternatives available and we are able to sell the road allowance and not disrupt anybody's living, then they are sold. They are two separate there's two separate policies here. And I think the way it stands right now is quite acceptable.
Okay. Thank you, Councillor Harper. Anybody else?
Councillor Bongo here.
Go ahead.
Thank you. I echo both Councillor Harper and Councillor Florent. I like the way the unopened road allowance policy looks. It was our discussion about the boathouses on Aylen River that brought this to light before council. And the way I look at it is that this bylaw gives our staff yet another tool to help navigate some of these situations that may come up with this specific way of residents using land. I am comfortable with the amount of discussion that we've had about it. So I am prepared to support it today. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Then we shall vote on this motion. Are you calling for a recorded vote? Councillor Shella?
Well, I want to vote against it. I fully believe we need the unopened road allowance policy, and I also believe we need that we have a policy in place for the shoreline. I just see them both mixed into this one, and I was just suggesting that we relook at it. Is there any rush for it to go for today versus next month or at another meeting? I don't think there is. I think we need both policies, but I just think that we should relook at how the shoreline is included, the shoreline reference in this policy, how it's referred to. And I had some questions about that. So anyway, if we're going to go ahead today with that, my vote is no. And even though I know we need both policies, but I want them, I think we should just kind of go through this a little bit together as a group.
Okay. All right, let's move ahead with the vote. Councillor Collins.
We would need a mover and seconder, Councillor Rodnick.
Oh, sorry. Can we have a mover?
I'll make that motion.
Councillor Florence, seconded by
Councillor Harper.
Councillor Harper. Okay, Councillor Collins,
4.
Councillor Florent,
4.
Councillor Harper,
4.
Bongo,
4.
Shalla,
Against.
the Rodnick is 4. Motion is carried. No, is there any reason to go into closed session?
We have none.
Can I have then that would put us at the end of the meeting. Can I have a mover and a seconder for the motion to adjourn the regular council meeting of April 6, 2022?
I'll move that.
By Councillor Collins, seconded by
I'll second it.
Councillor Bongo. Thank you. Councillor Collins
10:20.
at 10:20. Sorry, I forgot that part too. Councillor Collins is 4. Councillor Florent,
4.
Harper,
4.
Councillor Bongo,
4.
Ella,
Or
and carried. That's the end of the meeting.
Thank you, folks.